There are lots and lots of people that buy the Good Food Guide every year who may not ever use the internet. There are people who solely get their information from goodfood.com.au. There are some people that just buy the weekly newspaper.
Yeah, but you don't have stats on that from your position?
Well, the weekly paper, the Circ, is about 700,000.
Mm-hmm.
We sell 50,000 of these in New South Wales, 50,000 in Melbourne.
Yeah.
And then online, the stats are, I think, about 500,000 per week.
500,000 per week.
In Gourmet Trouble-Land, I mean, we print 80 or 90,000 magazines every month. They're read by 225,000 people nationwide, and our September restaurant guide that we publish every year, Australia's leading and only national restaurant guide, is still our biggest selling issue, up there with Christmas every year. So while we deliver all those reviews online, people are obviously still interested in the printed product as well. But I don't think anyone here really differentiates between their print reader and their online reader, because they're the same person. The essentials of the job haven't changed. We go and we find cool stuff, and then we share that with our readers. And I think that's probably what all of us sitting here do. I'm looking everywhere all the time, whether it's like walking down the street, looking at, DA notices, or just people ringing me up and telling me that they're opening restaurants, or just, press releases occasionally.
The way Broadsheet is curated is by inclusion. So we definitely don't write about every restaurant and cafe in Sydney, but we write about what we think our readers should know about.
I would like you, as a reviewer, not to go in and come back to me with a what I did on my holidays type review. I went this and I saw this and I did that and blah, blah, blah. What I want you to be looking for is evidence of systems, evidence of quality. Every restaurant in Sydney has a bad day. I've reviewed every 3-star, 3-hat restaurant in Sydney 10, 15, 20, 30 times. I've seen every one of those restaurants have a failed day.
But we have a senior panel, and we meet every couple of months, and we look at the state of play, we look at the scores, we sit down and we discuss where we've been, how those scores are tracking, if there's been a huge discrepancy in terms of what one person has experienced in another, and we do go and take a second look, sometimes a third if it's 100% necessary.
Look after your customers. Inculcate the idea in your staff that everyone coming through the door should be treated like the chef's wife or husband, or Terry Durack, or Miffy Rigby, or Pat Norse. It's Nurse. Or Georgia, any of those people, but just treat your customers as well as you possibly can.
When we launched in Sydney maybe 5 or so years ago, we wanted to do something different, and there was lots of excellent publications out there, like the ones that are from the people sitting next to me.
The Food Hat Book.
Yes, the Food Hat Book.
I like that.
That's good.
Let's go to town with it.
Yeah, sorry, Georgia.
It's all right. We decided to do something different, and so we as I said before, we consider very carefully about what we write about. We have a reputation because we don't write about everything, and we also take the time to send our writers there and interview the chef and understand how this restaurant fits into the scene, and we're not just kind of slapping up every thing that comes along. Yeah. But just on what you were saying before, I think sometimes too, you need to give your customers more credit, because everyone who are going to restaurants are very, very engaged. They'll read more than one publication, they'll read more than one review, they'll see what their friends are saying about the restaurant. They're not going to go once on a recommendation, and if it's not quite as good as they thought, never go back again, I don't think.
There is an assumption working there that a good review or good press is some sort of magic bullet, and it's not. Everyone in this room knows about really well-reviewed restaurants that have been run by well-intentioned, smart people that have potentially done great food that have crashed and burned. And we all know restaurants that have gone sub-review level, that keep on keeping on. People are raking in the cash, doing, frankly, pretty shitty food. So a great review is not a cure for a shoddy business model. The state of things in Sydney restaurants and Sydney media right now is that we want to find your restaurants. People in Sydney right now are more eager for information about restaurants than I've seen. I've been working as a restaurant critic in this city for longer than I choose to imagine, but coming up on the 2nd decade mark. And I have never seen more openings in Sydney than in the past 12 months, and I've never seen people as informed and interested as they are right now. So if you open a restaurant, you don't need even Broadsheet to break that story. People are going to find out about it. So you don't need to pay some PR person to get out there and say, hey, jump up and down, invite some C-list celebrities and get some social pages and let's waste some of your money on a party. If you want to have a party, fine. Most of the big end of town, Neil Perry doesn't do opening parties. These guys don't do opening parties. They save their money and they put it into their business. If your business is not working 12 months later when all the, yay, this new place is open, press has died away, then you need to take a good hard look at yourself before you hire a PR, and you should say to yourself, is this business as good as it can be? Am I doing something good? Is my business model sound? Am I looking after my customers? If the answer to those questions is yes, then you have a business that's probably worth PRing. Then you should sit down with one of the better people in town and look at how you can wave the flag. If it's not, maybe it's time to fold them and do something else. I have 400 restaurants that I can fit into the restaurant guide that we publish with Gourmet Traveller because we mail it out. We have a physical limit on these guys at the Hat Parade can keep adding the great
I like
restaurants.
that even more than the good hat book.
And a broadsheet, they can keep adding restaurants to their coverage, and we cover a lot online with Gourmet Traveller as well, but I have a finite number of restaurants that I can cover each year in Gourmet Traveller in our guide, and the cutoff now in Sydney is really high. Like when I started, we'd be cutting off restaurants because they were no good. Now we're cutting them off just because here's a number that I can hit, and I go top down from the best down. And even if your restaurant was fantastic last year, guess what? 15, 20, how many? 30 good restaurants have opened in Sydney in the last 12 months. And if they're better than your restaurant is going to get pushed down at the bottom, and that's just how it is.
This sounds harsh, but we're not actually here to service restaurants. We're not a platform to service you, we're a platform to service our audience. So if we're not going to just help you out because it's good for you, we need to think about what our audience wants to read. And if you've been around for 10 years and you can write me an email that tells me why I should bring you in front of our audience again. If you have a really compelling story or you're doing something really interesting and maybe you've been missed by the media, I would definitely take a look at that and consider that. But you need to really convince me that I should look at you again.
Own your own channel. It's 2017 people as well. There's some really great people using Instagram in this room, using it in a smart way, using a way that shows their customers directly what the food is all about. It's not picturing pseudo celebrities flopping around on the lounge. It's here's some tasty food we have today. They don't spend all day on it. You should still be cooking. If you're spending more than 5% of your day looking at your phone, you're doing it wrong.
Are we celebrating user-generated content as professional critics? I don't know that I am. Are you? Are you?
No, I mean, you read If You're Pat because they've had, 10, 20 years experience in the industry. They know every single good restaurant in Sydney. They can place a restaurant in context. They've eaten at every good restaurant in Australia. All over the world, you can see what Joe Blows thinks about a restaurant, or Miffy will give you something completely different, and they're not really comparable, I don't think.
I think the thing with user-generated content is that people will look for opinions that align with their own.
Yeah.
I'm just offering a well-informed opinion with some weight behind it.
Yeah.
As is anyone else at this panel, I guess.
Yeah, the person who's likely to write a review online will be the kind of person that goes in and the air conditioning's on, and they'll tell you all about that, and they won't tell you about the food.
Yeah,
Whereas
exactly.
a review will consider lots of
I saw
different
what you
factors.
did there.
Yeah.
I don't think in Critical Land we're looking at anything dramatically different from anyone else. It's just that we have less tolerance for mediocrity. So if you're doing something really out there, that's exciting. But also if you just I think Miffy might have made you guys cranky earlier talking about this, just getting it right. Just doing, I think it might be safe to say that Fred's is one of the most talked about restaurants in Sydney right now, and Danielle Alvarez is not doing anything super radical. She's not finding suicidal animals and cuddling them to death so we can eat guilt-free meat. She's not serving food in a helicopter. What she's doing is buying meat, fish and vegetables, cooking it with fire, putting it on a plate and doing it well.
I agree with you. I guess we cover lots of cafes and restaurants that are taking on new trends, and I think that there's a place for that, and that's important. There are a lot of people who want to go out and eat something and Instagram it and be like, I ate this new thing. But again, if you're not doing something of really high quality, then those people are going to come in and take the photo and leave and never come back.
Get better lighting for Instagram.
Get better lighting.
That's not a terrible thing.
Yeah, and we all joke about that, Instagram, but it's very, very, very important, and that's where most people are getting their tips, and that's where I look for stories, that's where I look for new restaurants. It's very important to have that kind of stuff, your social media really good and your restaurant kind of set up for it.
I want to have fun. I want to eat something delicious. I want someone to be nice to me when they serve me. And
Please and thank you.
Yep,
Hello and
please
goodbye.
and thank you.
Crazy
Hello
things
and
like
goodbye.
that. Say hello to your customer like you want them to be there, then say goodbye like you want them to come back.
yep,
That's surprisingly rare. It's like, so I've walked into restaurants, admittedly, you know, sometimes you don't want to see a restaurant critic, but looking visibly horrified when a customer walks in, it's not great, you know.
just don't run away to the other side of the room and hide. It makes me feel really unloved. Just be nice. Just serve something that's delicious. Have fun. If you guys are having fun, we're going to have fun. I think that's probably the big take home.